Martial arts has been around for over 1,000 years. From ancient Egypt to the modern day, martial arts has been used for things such as defense, entertainment, and mental and spiritual development. There are different types and techniques of martial arts that are used around the world. Some of these are more popular and are often practiced than the others. Karate, for example, is one of the world's well-known martial arts due to the amount of people that practice it, which is around 50 million people worldwide. Before humans evolved, early primates seemed to use some sort of a fighting way that helped them resolve conflicts between each other. When humans eventually evolved, the first type of martial arts that was known to man is called Caesurium. This was a form of Mongolian wrestling that was developed in 770 BC. But way before 770 BC, historians have seen hieroglyphics on ancient Egypt tombs dating all the way back to 3400 BC. The hieroglyphics that were found showed that the Egyptians used very different combat styles. Years before the Mongolians had created Caesurium, the Greeks found a form of wrestling and boxing in 776 BC. Hoplologists studied that the Greeks were the oldest in the record book to use intense combat fights like boxing and wrestling. For people who don't know, hoplology is the study of intense human combat behavior. In 688 BC, the Greeks passed down their form of boxing to the Romans. After martial arts was brought up to topic in Rome, it then emerged in England during the Industrial Revolution. After many years progressed, Jiu-Jitsu was the next form of martial arts that was discovered in 327 BC. Today, Jiu-Jitsu is mainly popular in Brazil, even though it did not originate in Brazil. There are many theories on where Jiu-Jitsu clearly originated from. One of the theories is that when Alexander the Great spread his knowledge about Greek cultures, it led to India creating a new form of martial arts, which is Jiu-Jitsu. The other theory was that Alexander the Great went to Japan and spread his knowledge of martial arts to the Japanese, which led them to create Jiu-Jitsu. After Jiu-Jitsu rose in 327 BC, Kung Fu was awakened in China. Many people believe that Kung Fu actually started in Japan, but that is false. In 256 BC, the Chinese civilians needed to protect themselves from the hostile environment at the time. The people of China looked upon Kung Fu to lead them to protection. As civilizations and agriculture were rising at the time, this was when Kung Fu was needed. Later, in 98 BC, the Chinese then spreaded their new skill of Kung Fu to Western Asia. They mainly spreaded their teachings of martial arts to Persia. The Persians created their own form of fighting, which involves mostly kicking and the use of only feet. As the Chinese spreaded their knowledge of martial arts to Persia, collective learning was being shown at its finest. Collective learning is where information has been passed on to others, which mainly helps others get more brighter with the new knowledge they have attained. After Kung Fu was born, the most famous fighting form was discovered, karate. Karate is known all over the world. For example, around 18.1 million people use karate in the US, and about 50 million people still use it in the world today. It originated from Japan from about 1905. A person who studies karate is called a karateka. A karateka would be able to tell us what makes karate very unique from other forms of martial arts and what key precision is needed for karate. Karate first began when a Chinese family settled in Okinawa, Japan, and learned the different self-defense styles of martial arts. They later developed their own form, which was taught in their own education groups in Japan. In conclusion to the history of martial arts has been spreaded in various countries by mainly collective learning. The different forms and techniques of martial arts have been spread by either a group that was traveling on an expedition or by average civilians attaining new knowledge, thus creating their own form of martial arts.
Now that we have talked about the history of martial arts and the different types of martial arts that were developed, it's time to talk about martial arts in the modern era. First and foremost, there are many purposes for martial arts that we use today. Martial arts helps defend ourselves, is used for entertainment of other people, it comes with many health benefits, and it helps us mentally and spiritually. When we use martial arts to defend ourselves against enemies, we open a whole new level of strategic combat maneuvers. When in a situation of defense, a person must use their brain to focus on where their opponent will strike. One who can tell us about the exactness of striking your opponent at the correct moment is a martial arts specialist. A martial arts specialist is not a person who just studies one form of martial arts, but all the forms of martial arts. A martial arts specialist will be able to explain why people should learn martial arts for the safety of themselves and to know when to use martial arts when endangered. Besides using it for self-defense, martial arts has been a long-time sporting event and iconic appearances such as the Olympics. The first Olympics started in 1896 and was held in Athens, Greece. It only held 9 sports and 43 events. Of those 9 sports, 2 of them included boxing and wrestling, which does fall under the category of martial arts. In the past Olympics, boxing, judo, karate, wrestling, and taekwondo have all been part of the event. Currently, in all industrialized countries, there are some kinds of tournaments that go on for a specific type of martial arts. For instance, in the US, there are different professional boxing events such as the WBC Super Featherweight Championship and the Welterweight Division. One of the most famous US boxers who took part in both these tournaments is Floyd Mayweather. He is undefeated in the 49 matches he played. Out of the 49 matches he played, he has knocked out his opponent 26 times. He is currently retired, living happily off his millions. Other than boxing in the US, many other countries have dojos where people practice martial arts. One of the most intense tournaments in martial arts history is UFC, which takes place in the US. It is so intense because in this tournament, all the different types of techniques of martial arts are legal. Another name for this is MMA, which stands for Mixed Martial Arts. MMA also allows the 2 opponents to use any types of combative defensive while brawling. Not only by practicing martial arts do you get better at it, but there are also health benefits that come with it too. When taking the time of practicing martial arts, a change in fitness starts to develop within a person's body. A person's cardiovascular health system starts to improve from martial arts. An improvement in the cardiovascular system can help improve stress in the heart. Of course, when a person does martial arts, they take on physical activity. Any physical activity helps produce weight loss to make a person lose fat. Working out in martial arts also improves muscle tone. It helps shape the muscle that a person has built up. Stress is also another factor that can be positively taken out when doing martial arts. If a person has stress, it will make them more timid and they would want to take out their aggression on their opponent. After all, these health benefits, stronger one that has been really been building up, is strong reflexes and improvement in a person's flexibility. In different types of movies such as Jackie Chan's First Strike and Fist of Fury, which are both karate movies, they show how when the villain sneaks up on the protagonist will be able to use his super reflexes to dodge the hit off his opponent and counterattack it. These might just seem as movies, but the heroes in movies, which is Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee, have been seen with actual footage fighting like they do in these movies. So from practicing martial arts, there are many health benefits that can benefit a person in the long run. In conclusion to martial arts, it has changed over a long period of time, starting all the way back from 770 BC till now. Martial arts has been and stayed popular through the long duration of time. It's not just a hobby for people, it's a lifestyle. Martial arts has always been there for society in ways that can help resolve dilemmas. There is no reason for martial arts to have impacted people in a negative way because martial arts has always desired prosperity for ones who practice the art.